Gentrification is when a low-income area is revamped to cater to a more wealthy demographic that move in usually for job opportunities. This makes the rent in the area increase substantially. Thus, this creates an issue with the lower income residents as they are now not able to afford to live there. Gentrification has been affecting Oakland for many years now, as we see a steady rise in the rates of homelessness within the city, as well as many residents being forced to move elsewhere since they can no longer afford rent. We decided to head to the streets of Oakland to document the experiences of those most affected by gentrification, as well as to get their opinions on the practice.
This has changed quite a bit. I worked in Jacqueline Square years ago. I have 2 Michelin stars as a career chef, and I've seen the Jacqueline Square change from when it was a bumping night scene to a ghost town. And I remember Oakland before people started putting the tents up. Homeless, the word homeless is a stigmatized word that we need to get rid of. As you see here, people have their homes here. They built these homes just like Americans did in the beginning, when they set out in the land, right? The homeless word is such a dangerous word, and it's an attack upon somebody, you know. This is a settlement, not an encampment. It's a settlement, you know. And also, the difference between people who are quote unquote homeless, the stigmatized word, people who are not, is that we're not paying rent. That's the one difference. The choice to not participate in a system that's not sustainable. Perpetuated by the real estate industry, that word, homeless, to get people to stay in their rent and stay in their home. That's why, homelessness doesn't exist. I think people have their homes right here. Oakland, for the better part of 13 years, it's changed quite a lot. You know, you could argue that this city is leading the world in change, reform. You know, everybody's looking at us and see what we do. You know, not just us. There's other cities like our city. We're one of the cities where the world's watching. And, you know, what do they do? Okay, ooh, let's do that too. You know, so yeah, we're leading the way as far as change thinking goes. Any people moving in, you know, have taken over, doesn't respect the existing, you know, who's living there. You know, how can they? They can show respect by, you know, not pushing us out, you know, and working with it. Paying rent should be illegal. The real estate industry should be done away with. How's a person supposed to chase their dreams, their aspirations, if they're working all the time? How are they supposed to achieve anything in front of their children if they're too busy working? It's not right, it's not fair.
Not only has gentrification led to a massive spike in homelessness, but it has forced many low-income residents to leave the city. This is due to landlords increasing the rent to try and capitalize on the newer, higher-income residents. We managed to interview a former Oakland resident that had to leave the city due to higher rent. She shared with us her experiences and her views on gentrification.
It's definitely harmful because rent went up more than double. So obviously I don't live there anymore because it was too expensive. I think they care about making money more than they care about the current residents. Yeah, a lot of people I've known no longer live in the Bay Area at all because they just can't afford to live in that area anymore. They could have offered more low-income housing attached to any of the new apartments that they were building. I know, what was it? I think Union Square had to allot a certain amount of low-income housing, but they also were able to buy the property for a lot less. And other apartments or people coming in making apartments didn't get the kind of deal that Union got. So in turn, they didn't offer any low-income housing. And that's definitely something that Oakland could have negotiated. I wasn't a competitive enough renter to lease in the area. Like I would have had to have a really high credit score, make 3 times the rent, and being a single income, that's just not especially with the rental rates being as high as they are. That just wasn't a feasible thing that I could do. Didn't matter how competitive I was or how fast I moved on an apartment, I just wasn't able to find an apartment that would approve me. So I had to start looking outside of the Bay Area for a residence. There's not enough services for the houseless. There's not enough places for them to go. And they constantly are removing them from locations, and like there's nowhere for them to go. Like, especially when it comes to the male houseless population, there just aren't services for men who are houseless.
On the surface, Oakland seems to have greatly benefited from gentrification. The city is significantly safer than it once was, and more money is coming into the city than ever before. But all it takes is for you to take a closer look to see how badly gentrification is affecting the native residents. Businesses that are run by people that have been here for years are shutting down because they simply can't compete. The people that made Oakland what it was, that made up the culture and gave the city its flair and identity, are being cast out. What is the end goal of gentrification? Do they want to gentrify the whole city? Kick out all the natives and get newer, richer residents? Make the city a shell of its former self? What about the people that used to live here? Where do they go?